Alright, I've got a set of Metaltronix stuff here. I've been asked a few times, like, what's the difference between the preamp and the head? There's actually a significant difference. More than I would have thought before I played them, more than I did think, and more than I think that most people would think. Right off the bat, I think the M-1000 head seems to have another gain stage, which is surprising because preamps are kind of known for like gain. It doesn't necessarily seem to be the case here. So, just the quickest history, the preamp came before the head. So maybe that's just what's called evolution, you know. So right now I am plugged into the preamp. Sadly, my power amp, the my Lee Jackson Perfect Connection power amp, doesn't seem to be working. You know, it lasts 40 years and then one day just decides to not. I don't know. Maybe it's a fuse, but whatever. So I'm plugged into a Fryette power station, which is a sweeter sounding power amp. So just take that into account. Here we go. More or less, this is the Zakk settings from like the pictures he has. I'm going to do pull distortion. He has his treble fairly low. I don't know on his push pulls. You just can't tell. You just can't. This is no pedals. Les Paul with Lawler Imperial. I wish I could just throw an EMG in, but that would take a while. So you know, that's that. Let's turn it up a little bit. So that's with the pull distortion. That's as much distortion as it's got. Not a lot. Not a lot. Let's check out this pull treble real quick. Subtle gang. It's probably a little more effective, I'm guessing, at lower gain volumes, but, you know. Let's go over to the pull bass. So bass, let's just put it all the way up. It actually sounds better. Get that filled it out a little. So that helped a little bit. Let's do the pull bass, which shifts it lower. Subtle. So subtle. And then the mid has this mid shift. So both amps share this in common. I'm going to turn it off. So that feels very Fendery. Loose. That's one. Go to two. We're getting there. Three. That's, I think, where it's supposed to live. And then there's four, which is, I guess, more. Yeah. Again, there's these very subtle shifts that in 2020 you go like, why? But, you know, back in the day, features were impressive, and this was new technology. I mean, this is very early preamp, one of the first. Yeah, not an amazing sound. Let's jump over to the M-1000. You know, I say that lovingly. Like on a day you'd be like, hey, my dog is dumb. I love my dog, but, you know. Alright, now we are in the M-1000 Metaltronix head, which came a little later. So this seems to have another gain stage. I took that gain stage out. So then we have this. Let's pop that gain stage in. This is at its lowest. Better, it tightened things up. This power amp, though solid, is incredibly loud. The head, all tube, incredibly loud. And it makes sense because I am sure every client that Lee Jackson had come in was like, it needs to be louder. I need to, you know, a set of 1,000-watt power amps in addition to my head. So, yeah, it totally makes sense. You got to put this in the era. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the sound. There's no pull pots for the head, but there is the mid shift again, which is a kind of a mushy mess at this gain level, but it sounds nice at clean stuff. And then up. So that's these guys in their like rawest form. Now, I kind of like them as a platform. They sound like the 80s to me, and I quite appreciate it. There's a lot of nostalgia in that sound. So as a starting point, it's pretty cool. Then you add a little EQ, and then you add a little effects, and it starts to come alive and turn into like a record sound from the 80s. It was a lot of hard work back then. That's just not gonna lie. Like, we have it real easy nowadays to get a good tone. To get any kind of like tone back in the day was just brutal. So anyway, let's jump back to the preamp. Really hard to squeeze out without a gain pedal. So Zakk was using a super overdrive, Boss SD1, but it also makes it more fizzy. So how did this work? I don't know. Alright, so here's the head, which already had gain. It's actually got a significant amount of gain. It just sort of gets loose. But with the SD1. Also, look, that just came alive. It's tricky. They're so loud. So loud. To get it to blossom, you really have to get to some crazy levels. fun. That's where it takes a little work, but you get somewhere. You know, that's some good stuff. Let's throw on some effects. Yeah? Let's hit this SPX 90. That's good. That's respectable. Can I do that on the preamp? I'm giving that a little more depth on the... All right, now we're in the deep end for sure, because we put up the secret weapon that was inside the Zakk attack rack, hidden by darkened plexiglass so that no one could see. This is Aphex Oral Exciter Big Bottom. That's what I'm talking about. So, got that same preamp sound there, and shoot, I haven't turned this on since I did that original Zakk video. So, oh boy. Okay, it's not is it active? It's not active? I don't know. Yo, something's active. What am I gonna do with that? Good Lord. What? Something just happened, and it was awesome. Oh, so that came alive. It's so much girthier, and it just made it so much better. Oh, what happens if we turn it off? Oh no. Yeah. Now that's kind of awesome. Turning off the overdrive. Holy crud. Too much. I can't control it. Too much girth! Grungiest thing I've ever heard. Well, I don't know if that was a success, but it sounds awesome through the preamp, right? So there's options. Yeah, right off the bat, you plug in. I can see why people might go like, but you can dial them into something really cool. And I think that's kind of fun, because what else are you going to do? Practice?